I think places like this is where inbreeding happens. This is where people get bum fucked and you don't know about it.
Here goes our ride!
Next 24 hours, we're here in the most isolated village in Europe. Holy. Probably don't want to look back. It's crazy that a man lives in this village by himself.
On the border of Europe and Asia, hidden in the Great Caucasus Mountains, lie the mysterious isolated towns of Georgia. Places so remote that it feels like they've escaped the passage of time. Every year, these towns get cut off from the rest of the world for months on end by extreme weather conditions. Rockfalls and avalanches that block the treacherous mountain passes that provide the only passage for residents and supplies to get in or out. This is why we've come to Georgia. We're on a mission to find the most isolated town in Europe. When we were researching this video, we found that there are many ways to measure isolation. The best answer we could find on the internet was Ushguli. However, after talking to the locals on the ground, we discovered that there might have been an even better answer, one that turned this video from an overnight stay into a quest that took 2 months to complete. But more on that later. First, let me tell you about Ushguli. Ushguli is a small town located at the head of a gorge in the region of Svaneti, located deep in the Greater Caucasus Mountains. These mountains bound the country of Georgia. They regulate the country's climate, have helped Georgians fend off invasions, and have kept places like Ushguli locked in time. The isolated mountain regions of Georgia hide castles, monasteries, and villages that date back to medieval times and beyond. Ushguli's isolation means that the journey of getting to it is as much part of the adventure as the destination. To get to our first village, which is the internet's claim as the most isolated town in Europe, we had a long but stunning drive ahead of us. Halfway along the way, we made a short pit stop to pick up our local guide, Ilya, who was quick to instill us with confidence about the road trip ahead.
It's like this mountain road and very narrow, and then some rock falls and avalanche.
Perfect. Some rock falls and avalanche on the road that we're going to right now?
Yeah, but like that's why we have a driver, they know where to stop and how to stop.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so the next leg to Ushguli begins, right? Ushguli.
To get there, we got a proper adventure truck, as well as a backup truck in case we get stuck. Only trusted local drivers who grew up learning how to read the side of the mountains for risk of landslides are to be trusted with this journey.
This is really dangerous. Like in other parts of Europe, like on a road like this, they always do maintenance. They always know that cars are coming. Here it's just grass and then landslides and then a big, like 500 kilogram rock that can just tip over a car.
This is now top 3 sketchiest road I've been on. After Nepal, after Bolivia, and now this one. Yeah. Does it often the road get completely blocked? Does that happen often, or?
In the winter, it's quite often.
No.
Yes, yeah.
And is it safe to go, for us to go? Is it safe?
We are here.
It is a crazy thing to find pictures of a place on Google and then end up right in front of it. Oh my god, this is it, huh? This is also one of the highest villages in all of Europe, right?
Correct.
What's the altitude?
2,100 meters.
Where am I taking us?
Oh, it's some crispy air.
Yeah.
I do not have the right footwear at all.
Amar was not prepared for this trip. So where are we staying?
We're staying in the guest house, which is 200 meters down. We have to walk because there is no access with the car.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I regret taking a rolling suitcase. You're gonna walk in sneakers in this. You said 200 meters?
They're gonna get wet. And
Yeah.
Here we go. Wow. This path is a path shared by cows and horses, and it is not dirt that we're walking on. If you're wondering, it is cow shit. Oh, hey guys. These are the only locals we met so far. How's it going? These friendly cows, or?
okay. All right.
Really feels like going back in time. There's not any noise in this entire town. There's no heating, there's no air conditioning, so there's no noise coming from the buildings. This is the old school way. We have to cross this. Amar, let me see your shoes again.
Why didn't I just buy shoes earlier?
These are your only shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Thanks, dude.
Slightly sleep deprived after landing in the middle of the night, and after a long journey, we finally made it to our guest house where we'll be staying for the next 2 days.
She's the most famous cook in this region.
Amazing.
After dropping off our luggage, we started exploring this legendary village we read so much about.
This is old typical Swansea house and old time from 14th century. People and animals living together. In downstairs there was living animals, and upstairs people slept.
Wow, the animals were underneath
Yes.
and people slept above.
Because in winter time there was so cold, and from downstairs the warm is going up.
So the animals were helping heat
Yes.
the beds.
When did people settle here? Like, what's the oldest record of people living here?
First family before born Jesus.
Before Jesus.
Yes.
So this is like people have been here for over 2,000 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. In places like this, I'm always inspired by the resilience of human beings and just their sense of adaptability.
Yeah.
And how much in like these modern times that we're in, whatever that means, we just have so much comfort that we forget that our nature is more to be out with the elements and constantly adapting, constantly changing.
I also wonder if we were more compassionate to each other when we lived in small villages like this, because everyone's survival was codependent. I mean, you can't survive in a place like this while being in conflict with everyone you're living with.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Now we're hiking to one of the northernmost spots up here in the village. There's a church and apparently a monk. So we're gonna go up and see if he's there, see if we can meet him.
This church is from the 9th century. Church and monks was always very, very important in Georgia because we had so much war. So in all of the fights, like church was always leading and like helping and supporting to survive.
How long has he been living here?
10 years.
10 years.
And then he's staying alone here in the winter.
Alone? Wow.
Yeah, this is very powerful and a very important church. So a lot of like pilgrims are coming here to pray. So he has some guests coming here for some time and living, but he's serving here alone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. 10 years just in solitude up here.
Quite the commitment to faith and to your practice. We are walking up to meet the oldest man in the village. Hello.
Çarkıyani.
Çarkıyani. I'm Thomas.
Ramdenit
بتون شده.
He looks great for 87. This village is very historic, but I'm curious about does the name mean anything?
Ushkul, if you separate, it means brave heart.
That's beautiful. That's incredible. Has he lived in the village his whole life?
سوپل اخلا اکی قو راسی مسخله مگرم زبخلا بیت قولا مودیسک یوسه بمر وراسم دمین تریفسه.
Has he ever left the village?
No, he never left the village.
He's never left this village. So this is all he's ever known.
What's the biggest difference that you feel between today and, let's say, 50 years ago?
I'm beyond our chance, our suppress, خالخير مدادقو كارغادقو غامار جبلادقو قولا كسو باسو جبلت خوله با
Does he have something that he'd like the younger generations to keep in mind or remember?
ertoba kulturulada çamosuse martanat patib semlada tutu შეგენა თუ მე ჩემი თავმოყოლება თუ სისტემი იზრდება რამაკ შენ რა უნდა წაიღო ჩემგან
ძალიან დიდი მადლობა.
ბევრია სათქმელი, მაგრამ რა ვიცი და მადლობა თქვენ გენასთან გაიხარეთ.
Thank you.
There's so much wisdom in our elders. I am sad to hear that we're losing this small town community living in many places, even this remote, already lost. It's hard to imagine us going back. Maybe there will be an anti-technology movement. There kind of is some people that are moving back to the simplicity, but it is the skill set of knowing how to use your hands and living out in these conditions is, no longer really being passed down into generation from generation as they used to. Bon appétit.
Kamot.
Wow. Amazing. One of the best things I've had. It's like so simple, but the spices, I don't think I've tried meat that tastes like this before.
Few spices and herbs is specific from this mountain.
Specific from this mountain. That's why I don't think I've tried any, like some of this flavor before.
Yeah.
What's happening?
She said for digestion, one glass is really good. Alcohol.
It's like 10 a.m. I don't think I've ever had alcohol this early in my life. 9 a.m. is always a good time to open a bottle of wine, right? It's a horrible idea. Did we end up with a whole bottle? I thought we were supposed to get a small glass.
We're trying Okinawa wine.
How strong is this?
Pretty strong.
What time is it? It's like 11 a.m., right? That's the way to do it. Hey, my friends. You know that voice inside your head? The one that sometimes can get quite loud, makes your head spin? Not this voice. The one that whispers. It tells me how to think, how to feel, and for a long time, I thought this voice was me. That this voice was true, that this voice always knew. But the more I've grown, the more I've come to realize that this voice I hear many times has felt more like an enemy than a friend, outside of my control. I sought a path to tame this never-ending chatter, to observe the voice and choose how I want it to speak to me so I can actually live more present, more me. This quest eventually brought me to meditation, at which point my deeper journey began. Over time, a little kinder voice inside started saying, "Come on, man, you got this, Thomas, you're my boy." Okay, that one wasn't me, that was Stefan. 24, support us.
It's so cold. Fuck.
The most characteristic part about this village, however, are these towers. Built to fend off enemies, these highly effective defense structures allowed Ushguli to maintain its independence for centuries, never to get conquered by another nation.
As we learned yesterday, it was one of the main ways the town stayed independent and protected during times of invasion.
These towers are like over 1,000 years old, right? From 8th century, so like 1,200 years old. Wow.
You can actually climb into this?
Yes.
Engineering built to last, you know?
Okay, don't fucking jinx it. Just go. It's like, build that.
You're just stacked up here with provisions and food. You can hold out this tower for weeks. Can't believe we're inside a 1,000-year-old tower.
This is a wrap for this town.
Ushguli.
Ushguli, and now we actually make the trek to Europe's most remote and inaccessible town that we can only get to by helicopter.
Unfortunately, it was not so simple. As we prepared for the next journey, a week-long snowstorm overtook the region, making flying impossible for the foreseeable future. To put how remote and isolated the next village is in context, the only road to access it is considered one of the top 10 most dangerous roads in the world. It's also only open about 3 months out of the year, so the only access to it is by helicopter. For that, we needed to make sure we had a guaranteed clear 24-hour weather window, which, to our complete surprise, led us to wait week after week, until 2 months later we were finally cleared with clear blue skies safe enough to fly. And so, although I was literally on the other side of the world when we got the news, it was now or never.
This is not how this part is starting. Very good.
À bientôt.
Il est vivant? Oui. Oui. Wow, can't believe I'm back 2 months later.
Hi man, nice to meet you. Hi, Stefan.
Alright, 2 months later. It took 2 months to make this happen. And we're finally back in Georgia. This time with a brand new team, a couple of new goofballs. Woohoo! Let's go! Hey guys!
Let's go. Swiss guy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. A bit nervous about the helicopter, but besides that.
So Stefan is the only one on the team that has like a pretty serious fear of heights, and it's ending up in the second part of the trip where heights are involved. And Amar, who has no fear of heights, is not here.
I knew you were going to bring it up as well. Are you afraid of heights?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
No.
Thanks for making me even more look like a nerd.
No problem.
How are you feeling?
Good. Are you holding a bunch of eggs? Hold on. Is this from the hotel buffet? How many eggs have you taken?
No, I borrowed from Sweden. I have something to confess. I stole eggs from the hotel.
It's okay.
Yes, we're gonna like fly over the mountains to reach the village, which is somewhere
up there. Somewhere up there.
Airport security. Hello. Hi man, hi. Stefan. Haha, Elia. Hi man, nice to meet you. I'm Stefan.
We're doing it. Finally. It's good to see you. How long is the helicopter flight?
If you can go directly, then 30 minutes.
That's the only way in or out.
So now we're in the middle of paradise.
Thomas.
Elsa.
Staffan and Staffan.
Thomas.
მთელი ზამთარი მარტო კარო ხარ ხალხი რომ მოდის უკვე ხალისი ეძლევა კაცს.
Wow. This is beautiful.
ზამთარში რამდენი კაცი შევა?
ზამთარში 7-8-ნი, ხან 7-ნი ვიყავით, ხან 8-ნი, ხან 9-ნი.
Wait, so he's only seen 9 people in the last 7 months?
Correct. Yeah.
Every time I take the bus, I say hi to at least 7 people. So that's
The way of life in the mountains, isolated from the rest of the world, is slowly disappearing as younger generations prefer being in cities. Obviously, want to have access to schools and hospitals and the modern world. Yeah, there is a generation that's still here. But in the winter, there used to be about 50 to 100 people. This winter, there was only 9 in this village, and then a few in the surrounding ones. So, very, very few. I think this rural way of living all around the world is slowly becoming less and less common. And one wonders if once this generation, who's now in their 60s, 70s, pass away, these mountain villages are going to have any life left in them. So these small villages that we can see in the surroundings, some of them don't even have anybody living in it. This one in particular has 0.
After our host and local driver carefully planned the route, it was time for yet another treacherous drive through the mountainside to explore this incredible Tusheti region. Tusheti is a collection of small villages in the mountains, right at the border with Dagestan and Chechnya in Russia. Omalo is the village that we are staying in, which we'll explore later. First, we're off to the highest village in all of Europe at 2,400 meters, where the only doctor in the region still lives on his own.
How we doing? Doing great. Oh, I trust him, but I'm pretty scared. Like, we're driving this close to like the cliff.
Okay, yeah, now I'm not so happy actually. Probably don't want to look back.
Well, I don't know if you can comprehend this right now, but this beautiful man is backing up a car uphill, and we're sitting here. There's no seatbelt. Oh, can we maybe just walk the last part or so?
What do you mean, what's wrong with this road? What's wrong with this? So this man lives alone in this village.
Totally alone. როგორ გზნობთ თავს ამ გზაზე?
ჩემთვის ეს ჩვეულებრივი გზა არ არის.
It's crazy that a man lives in this village by himself.
Madloba for having us.
Thank you. მიარც მეგონა ასეთ უცოტო შევეჩვენე.
Meet Irakli, a true local legend here, keeping the highest village in Europe, Bochorna, alive.
Yeah. Be one of the most isolated humans on the planet right here. This is where he lives, huh?
Wow, that is beautiful.
Although we are the first strangers he's met in over 7 months, and we brought him this bottle of wine as a gift, instead of saving it for himself, he swiftly opened it and was eager to share what he had with us. Irakli, at 84 years old, is partially blind and survives extreme conditions during the winter here.
Mama upalma Yesu Christem. Eda Mariam Sminam da Ione Natsevno Dagulos. Sida Rachikazaya.
არა მე
Nu da Lucas Otkui.
As the last doctor, he gets called for emergencies, where he has to travel often during snowstorms on these treacherous roads by horse. He's had this horse for 33 years, and his presence as a doctor allows the few locals to remain safe as they stay and live so far from the rest of the world.
Can I ask you what happened to the rest of the village?
Ამას უთხარი ცხოვრების წესი შეიცვალა. ძალიან სუდად შეიცვალა, იმიტომ რომ ასე თუ გაგრძელდა და ეხლა ვიღაც უნდა შენი სოფლის ტალახიზება. შენ ბალღები წავიდნენ, ეჟათა ჩამოდენ გაზაფხულობით, მოდიან როცა დღეობები გვაქვს მაშინ.
მეუღლესთან ერთად ჩასვლაზე არ გიფიქრიათ ქვევით?
აბეხლა რომ მარტო თავის არ უნდა იფიქრო პაპა.
He's saying like you don't have to think only about yourself. You have to think about community. That's why he's staying here because he's the only one doctor. And he said like if I go, then what if someone has a problem here?
და წეღანას ხოლთქი რომ ავადმყოფთან წასასვლელს ავადმყოფიდან მომსვლელი დამოუკიდებლად მე ცხენზე აღარ შევждები არა დავიხურა ფულს იმიტომ რომ ეგრე არაა საქმე.
Wow, that's a sense of duty for him staying here actually.
ყველაზე მეტი სირთულე იცი რა არის რომ ძინი ავადმყოფთან მიხვალ გინდა დაეხმარო და ვერ ეხმარები რამოდენიმე შემთხვევა მქონდა. ბავშვს აი ესე გადაესხიფა ცელით 14 წლის ბავშვს ხო გესმის რაცა ხელი და ჰაი არტერიებიდან აფსავდა სისხლი. აშინავდი მივარდი ჩემი ცხენი და კიდე ვიღაც მომეხმარა მეხმარება უჩერს რომ როგორმე შეაჩერო აი ასე აფსავს. და კიდევ კარგი რომ არ დააყონა კერტი შამილა ყავს. აი ის მოფრინდა მოიყვანა თავო დაუთუხა ზაღი ასეთიო და წაიყვანა. აი გა ყველაზე კრიტიკული მომენტი შემდის რომ გინდა რომ მიეხმარო ხელში გაკვდება თანაც ახალგაზრდა კაცი ბალღი და ვერ ეხმარება.
Yeah, third round, yeah.
შვიდობის იყოს სიცოცხლის იყოს სიკეთის იყოს და ყველაფრის გვირგვინს შვიდობას და შვიდობას გამარჯვება. ამინ.
Amen. Wow, this was an epic experience. Giving us wine, bread, and great conversations.
აქ იყო ეს არის პირველი
პირველი 1800 სოფლის აშენებული. მე და ჩემმა ცხენმა ვეზიდეთ ეს თქვა და მე და ჩემმა ცხენმა ავაშენეთ ეს გარეთა მოპირკეთებული და აი ეს კიდე როცა შემოვიდა რა იცი გახალასებული ვარ და ვედრები რას ვედრები ოჯახის სიკეთეს ვედრები.
Tell him I'll pray as well for him and the horse and his family.
Mother, thank you.
As the last few moments of daylight were upon us, we drove to the main village here, Omalo, which is the only one with more than 1 or 2 inhabitants left, and that we will therefore claim as the most isolated village in Europe.
We are exploring these towers up here that are absolutely stunning. These were ancient defense towers here to protect the village, as we saw in the first Ushguli village, made basically very difficult to conquer, even with the limited defense equipment that they had. To try to get to the soldiers up in these towers, throwing rocks, spears, arrows at you would be an impossible challenge. Just hiking up this hill is taking me out of breath. One thing's for sure, that it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen.
To make the most of our last day here, we drove around to see if we could meet the rest of the locals living in this region.
Thomas,
how are you today, Nana?
Good. Very good.
Nice heart you have here.
Thank you.
Casually getting to know the 7 neighbors here in the area who've been isolated here for like 7-8 months.
Many of the locals here have built kind of guest houses for the 2-3 months that the road is open in the summer. People come here and visit. So many of them are able to create small businesses by hosting visitors coming.
You can literally like just hear the mountains here, right? And she's just sitting here and doing her work. Can I ask you, what is the best part of living here?
საუბედურეთ მეუღლე გარდამეცვალა უკვე 23 წელია, მაგრამ თუშეთი და თუშები არის ალბათ
How are the Tushetian people, would you say?
კარგი რო არ ყოფილიყო არც გავთხოვდებოდი პირველ რიგში და მეორეც სამვაშს უზდი თუშებს და მაგრამ მოძრავი ხალხია და უკვე ნახევარზე მეტი გასულია უკვე საზღვარგარეთ და ვინატრებდი რომ დაბრუნებულიყვნენ. აი ეგ არის ყველაზე ჩემი დიდი ნატურა.
It feels like every time we go and say hi to someone, they love to speak. And it must be because they haven't spoken with people for 7 months. Bye, bye, bye.
She was talking to herself when she was doing this stuff, explaining to herself, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta clear these weeds, I gotta fix this plant. Because they're so used to being alone that they just start talking just out loud. We are so deep in the mountains right now. Okay.
გამარჯობათ, ელიკო. კარგად, ჩვენ თქვენ როგორ ხართ?
Nice to see you. Nice to be here.
სასიამოვნოა. ჩვენც გვიხარია სტუმარი ძალიან.
How do they survive the winter?
შემოდგომაზე მოვიმარაგებთ მთლიან ზამთრის საკვებს ხოლმე. და მერე ზამთარში კიდე ჩემი შვილები ეს სასაზღვრო რეისები ხო არის?
Her son is a pilot. Time to time, he's sending additional supplies with a helicopter.
That's wild, crazy. Well, it's insane.
ზღაპარია მაგათთვის, ქალაქში მაცხოვრებლებისთვის. ნამდვილად ზღაპარია, მაგრამ ძალიან რთულია. აბა, მთელი 7-8 თვე მოწყვეტილი ხარ. ხალხი არა, მარტო შემიუღლე ვარ ზამთარში. და წარმოიდგინე, როგორია. ტელევიზორი მე და შემიუღლე და საქონელი. всё, ეგ არის. ყოველ დღე ეს და იგივე, ეს და იგივე. ის რთულია ამ ადგილის დატოვება. ეხლა ხო მოხუცდით ჩვენ თან ვეღარ შეგვიძლია. ეს წარმოგვიდგენია როგორ უნდა დავტოვოთ. აი მარტო ერთი ოჯახი ვართ ზამთარში. ჩვენც რო წავიდეთ, თლად გაუბედურდება აქაურობა, გაპარტახდება. და არ გვემეტება.
What did you say? He had more hair when he was young.
Ah, same here. We're in the same. We're in the same team. Madlova. Madlova. It's unbelievable that they have stayed there for 47 years and maintained their own life with their own supplies and their own shelter and everything.
Yeah, they're the last ones standing, keeping this village somewhat alive. You know, once you give up on a village like this, it's very hard to rebuild it back to life. We are what is probably the most isolated and remote church in all of Europe. This is incredible. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. This village right here. I can understand why this couple wants to be here and preserve it, but at the same time, it must be very difficult to just be here, the two of you.
Hi, bud.
Hi, beautiful.
With how in threat of extinction the handful of villages of Tusheti are, we felt immensely lucky to have captured this precious snapshot in time.
Time to go home.
For a while there, we weren't sure if we'd make the second part of the story happen. Was it even worth it week after week of waiting? And well, at a time on YouTube where reaction videos and shorts are the norm, maybe we're a little crazy to commit this deeply to this quest.
Amazing. Bye-bye.
All right, here we go.
But 30, 40 years from now, having gone the extra mile for the sake of the integrity of the story is something that I know will be immensely proud of having done. Giving the people of Tusheti a chance to share their story and exploring a corner of the world very few will get the chance to say that they've seen. A part of me hopes that some of us in the younger generations will see the beauty there is here and reverse what currently seems like the inevitable disappearance of villages like these. But maybe that's just me, holding on to a romanticized view of what life in places like these must be like. Time is inevitable, and it may be a hopeless quest to attempt to resist it. In the meantime, I'm grateful we shared this experience together, and we'll see you next week.
What? I didn't even pay attention to this.